Aquarius, I hope that everybody's doing well. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Going back and forth on something, considering something, maybe to the point of getting ready to make a choice or figure out which way you want to go with it. Something you could be worrying about too. Finding what inspires you. We're starting off with the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is a question about what is going to feel fulfilling to you ultimately, and what you may be making the choice to leave behind in search of what is going to feel fulfilling, in search of finding answers you're looking for. I'm almost seeing it like past cycle, past chapters of your life that you're walking away from. Seeking maybe even a new type of fulfillment. And maybe this is something you feel like you're getting better at. It's like when you catch yourself and feel like you could have more fulfillment, maybe you're more actively like jumping on taking action in that moment. Like cutting down that time between recognition and taking action. Feels like you're really on the search here. You may feel like you're stepping onto like new land or new territory completely. I'm looking at Justice here, which represents Libra. So this may be a particular dynamic that you're working things out with this person. Or this could be your collaborations in general, or like your relationships in general. It's like wanting to bring as much honesty and integrity and balance to each of these dynamics as possible, because you know that's how you feel more fulfilled in these scenarios. It seems like this is a concern regarding relationships, especially because Libra does speak about our partnerships. It can represent that, and doing so in a way of like balance and grace. It's like speaking honestly when you're working with other people, being emotionally balanced too, and like working to find that middle ground for yourself, especially when other energies are involved as well. It's like figuring out how to play nicely with others, and like wanting to be a good team player so things can run more smoothly. Doing what you can, also surrendering to what you have no control over as well. This can be your personal relationships just as much as this can be related to your work relationships, like coworkers and stuff. For some of you, there's even a question of like a more committed type of relationship. For some of you, this is about finding your way throughout a marriage that you're working out, or maybe on the way to something like that. Not for everybody. Or like a committed partnership. Something that you're trying to create, because you may even be working on creating the right setup or the right environment that is like conducive to a proper balanced relationship, one that is like in harmony and flow with your life, and you also creating that in relation to another person. So this can also be a preparation type of energy. It seems too like in you learning more about yourself, your expectations, what you're wanting, what feels like balance to you, how much you're willing to give, what you expect from another person. It's allowing you to manifest this type of relationship into your life. Whether this is something that you're currently working on with another person, or you're kind of getting this ready for a person to be walking into your life and joining you. This is also finding the line between like what feels okay for you to give and what would be too much for you to, and understanding your boundaries in relation to that. So you're not overgiving or undergiving, regardless of who this is talking about that you're interacting with. And maybe this was something that like you did need to address, because you could have had relationships before where it's like you withheld too much, or you feel like you gave too much and things just became out of balance, and now there's more of a focus on that balance primarily, especially with justice here, and also the Six of Pentacles. These speak about balance, and with the Four of Wands here, it speaks about our balances within our relationships and partnerships. Starting, of course, with our relationship with ourselves, so then we can see that reflected externally. So this is all about you showing up for yourself and holding space for yourself. And maybe this is something that you're working on and you don't know where exactly what that outcome is going to be just yet. There's a sense of like knowing that the work you're doing is important, but you still don't know how that's going to turn out for you. And maybe getting okay with that. Maybe being okay with that sense of ambiguity that we usually feel so uncomfortable within. For some of you too, it looks like there's a sense of evaluating and reevaluating your relationships, what you feel fulfilled within, what you can be working on, what you can be tweaking, what you can be fixing, versus what you just want to walk away from altogether. And I'm seeing that this is leading to a transition for you, and for a lot of you this is leading into like a new dynamic that you have with someone, or even a new relationship that you're having with someone. You may also be feeling the heaviness too of you going through a period of transition right now. Even when we recognize we want to change, sometimes when we're in that change, it still feels stressful, because like we know that we're going through changes, but we're also shedding part of our ego / part of our identity. And that can feel very uncomfortable and unnerving, because we don't know like what that's going to reveal about ourselves. Especially because it's like, how does the new you enter into relationships like with all you know now and who you are now, versus what was familiar to you in the past but something that you don't want to be reliving. Manifesting an opportunity. It feels like you're both uncovering things about yourself and also about other people and the way that other people work. the way that your emotions work in relation to what your intuition is telling you and how you can gather information based off of that process. So because you're looking for a sense of balance in your relationships, there's something new that you're going to be discovering. And within that, there is a sense of justice, whether this means changing up dynamics entirely or entering into dynamics that you haven't experienced before. It seems like there definitely is a bit of stress being put on particular relationships. Whether these are relationships to come, like you're stressing about the relationships to come, or you're feeling stressed within a dynamic that you already have. It's like maybe you're also like in finding this new way of acting with another person, you really feel like it's taking so much consciousness to have balanced connections with people and to like live in this new space and this new light, and you're kind of feeling that out right now. Trying to manage the stress as best as possible as you're going through this transition. It seems like you're having some sort of collaboration, whether this be with someone outside of yourself or this is just you working with the part of yourself that is the magician, that is manifesting. There's an opportunity that's going to be coming through for you. I'm looking at the Ace of Wands below the magician here. It's like something that you're cultivating, an opportunity that's coming to fruition. But you may be unsure right now how you feel about what's kind of unraveling. You also want to be aware too of what types of energies you're like manifesting and allowing to be in your life too. Especially ones that are not direct and straightforward and upfront. I'm looking at Libra, Scorpio, and Mercury in the first spread. I'm looking at the King of Cups and the Two of Wands, so some type of plan is being made. You're trying to do this from the most grounded place possible. It kind of feels like a what's next type of energy, Aquarius. I'm looking at a karmic test. It has to do with a crossroads where you are and about how you're emotionally handling this. It seems like, I know that you already know this, but what I'm getting is that when these important decisions are coming up and it's time to make a choice, you being as grounded as possible is going to be your best bet here. So this is about checking yourself too, and when you get to a place where you need to make a decision, if you feel ungrounded, to try to center as much as possible prior to making a choice. So you don't look back at it and be like, I should have done something else. Like if I was more calm, I would have made a different decision. Or if I had thought that out differently, I would have made a better decision. Thought that out, thinking about it, reflecting. It seems too like the more grounded you are, the more it's allowing you to reflect as well. It's like the more you even want to reflect because you're prioritizing being centered. This means too that you're also understanding when you need to disconnect and like go within yourself to find the answers that you're looking for, rather than like referencing things externally. This is about like you really trusting yourself when you feel like you get to a point where you're like, I can go down this road or I can go down this one. And when you reflect, you're finding the answers that you need and feeling a sense of security within that. Seems like you're getting to a place too where you're recognizing something that you need to let go of, and maybe you feel like you've gotten to a point where it's time to actually do this. Like, that's what I'm seeing this crossroads be about. It's like you can either hold on to something that you recognize that you should possibly let go of, or you can go ahead and let go of this. That's the karmic test. I'm hearing something about waiting around. Maybe you have been waiting around for something, and you may be making the decision to let go of this. I'm hearing that phrase, let go and let God. It's like with the Wheel of Fortune here, it's like you want to release and see like what else comes through for you rather than waiting on something and seeing where the Wheel of Fortune takes you. Maybe you're also recognizing too that holding on to something is kind of delaying your storyline, and you may get to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't want to wait anymore. I want to see what's upcoming for me, but you know you have to let go of something in order for you to like assume this new chapter of your life. This may be a specific message. For some of you, you could still be waiting on someone that like things may feel unresolved with this person, or you may still be like, well, I don't know who exactly they are, and maybe not being completely sure of this person's identity, but like I'm not seeing you have a particularly smooth relationship with this person in the past, and there's a sense of like that's kind of what this release feels like. So it's like if you're still holding on to someone, Libra, Scorpio, Mercury, Virgo, if you're still holding on to someone and like waiting to see where your paths cross, you may be getting to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't want to wait anymore. I want to let this go. And again, like see what else is coming for me rather than waiting around. Because you may recognize that you've been holding yourself back from an opportunity. Feel in your head about where you are. It feels like you're in your head about making this decision about whether or not to let something go. And maybe when you reflect, you also are recognizing that too, like that resistance that you're feeling. Yeah. It feels like here you're recognizing, catching, that you have been holding yourself back from opening yourself up to new opportunities. And this can be in any area of your life. It can be related to jobs or relationships or things that you want to pursue. It's like you've been holding on to something because it's familiar, although you don't feel satisfied within it. And this is about recognizing that and letting it go and being like, I'm ready for something new, even if I don't know what that is. This is that notion of being comfortable with the devil you know rather than the one you don't. So it's like what feels familiar and comfortable to us. Like sometimes we make the choice to hold on to that even though we feel uncomfortable within that, or it's not satisfying. And this is that sense of being like, well, I don't know what's to come, but I know that what I have right now isn't what I want, or where I am right now isn't what I want, and I want to seek outside of that. And it feels too like this is the recognition of you like overthinking things or feeling anxious and being like, yeah, I do feel like that, and I'm still going to pursue something that I want to pursue. So it's like, rather than allowing like fears and things like that to hold you back, this is like you recognizing that you feel like that and still deciding to pursue what you want to pursue. So it's like not allowing that to inhibit you. So this is about coming to terms too with all of the ways that you're feeling and still doing what you want to do. Because you may be having the opportunity to expand in some way. I'm looking at Jupiter here. Virgo, Pluto, Jupiter. With Pluto next to the Four of Pentacles too, the Four of Pentacles is about analyzing what have I been holding on to that I need to let go of, and what do I want to continue holding on to, and making a decision in relation to that. Because we can see too that when we're still holding on to something that we're meant to let go of, we find ourselves within a stagnating energy. And this is something that would help get things moving by you thinking about what it is that you want to release and surrender to, so you can continue along your merry little way and see what's in store. Completing a lesson when it comes to internal conflict. One that you're going to be successful with. Yeah, it feels very much like this is, and I saw the moon like during part of the shuffle regarding like the subconscious space and what's going on internally, how you're feeling, what you're uncovering. It seems like you're getting to a point where you're recognizing what had held you back, why you had been feeling conflicted, coming to the conclusion of this internal conflict you'd been feeling. This is resolving that as well. It's like completing a lesson, completing a cycle with this internal conflict, and then moving from there and starting a new chapter. And doing so successfully. I'm also seeing something too. There's going to be some type of surprise. Some type of surprise that's coming through for you. It seems like you're making an empowered choice for yourself and being like as confident as possible in doing this, and then something surprising comes through, something that you're not expecting. Very interesting. So to go over the signs again, I'm looking at Libra, Scorpio. I'm hearing Sagittarius. I am looking at Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto, and Saturn. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.